Here we are, Bridesburg. Car theft capital of the world. No, it's not that. It's a stolen car. I reported this to the cops yesterday. I guess it's not an emergency to get a stolen car off the street, right? It's not that big of a deal. But here's the thing. The people who steal the cars, right, they live around here. So what they do is they dump a car they steal here. You can see the steering column. It's cracked. I wish that's all they did to my car. My car, they ripped out the bottom, everything got these mother. Anyway, so what they do is, they park the car near where they live, and then what they do is they get this car, and then they go out and steal more cars. So you figure you would want to get the car off the street. I don't know. I called it in. Egads. All right, we're going to be happy today. By the way, we're going on the scoot. Where are we going, cuz? We're going to go this way. There's something wrong with the world today. Oh, I have Aerosmith Living on the Edge. It's been stuck in my way. I could be happy. All right, there's no way I could be happy. I was like, all right, what can we do? What can we do in this vlog that could be upbeat and positive? And there's nothing. There's nothing I could. Listen, I'm just mad. I sent the Philadelphia Police Department a pretty good email last night. All the stuff, video clips, witnesses, all this stuff. I never got a response. I don't know if they saw what I sent them. I haven't heard anything. I guess, it's been about 18 hours. And I just, what gets me upset about police work is there's a TV show. And it's called The First 48 Hours. And that TV show, the first 48 hours has taught me that if you don't do anything in the first 48 hours, it's over, cuz. It's over. Let me show you. Let's pay some respects to some people. Port Richmond legends, icons, to this day. And their legacy still lives on. Both men. Isn't that interesting? The dad and the son. I'm going to show you the grave of Keith and Sean Daly. Family friends. I was a Port Richmond Tiger. I'm getting goosebumps telling you guys this story. Keith was kind of like, seriously, he was kind of like an uncle to me. I would hang out at the clubhouse all the time. And Keith and Sean Daly lived in Port Richmond. It's going to take a sec. I'm really bad at finding the graves. Luckily for me, Sean has a picture on this grave. This is the part of YouTube most YouTubers don't show you when they go to the graves, and they hate this part. And it's funny. I used to come here all the time. My one dog, we always used to walk by here. I was usually half in the bag, and I would always walk by, and I would just go, "Hey, Keith, how you doing? What's going on, Sean? You ever talk to headstones?" I do that. That's what I do. I don't know why. I don't go, but it's funny. I don't go. Most of the times when I'm in cemeteries, it's usually people I don't know. It's usually famous people. I only visit the Dalys and my grandmother. Where the hell are they buried? I made a video about 6 years ago when I was first sort of starting off YouTube, telling the story of Sean Daly. Sean was a young guy when he got killed. He was murdered on my corner. And he passed away back in 1989. And this is his dad, Keith. Keith, he started the Port Richmond Tigers. This is his grave. The Port Richmond Tigers is a youth baseball organization out of Port Richmond. And Keith passed away in 2002. It's 23 years later the Port Richmond Tigers are still around, and Sean Daly has a softball tournament in his name. Wow, we're catching up to 35 years since his murder. I mean, that's a pretty amazing legacy. I don't know about you, but I played team sports growing up, and the friendships and the memories and the people involved in your sports community, like your coaches, and they kind of become a second family if you're in a good organization like the Tigers. Like the Tigers were. I don't know how they are anymore. I mean, Keith, his baseball organization has definitely affected thousands, tens of thousands of people. And that softball tournament, it's like a highlight of a lot of people's summer. Like, no joke. People take the softball seriously. And there's a softball tournament that happens in Sean's name every year. And you know what? Let's do a tribute to Sean Daly and Keith Daly. Let's do a little Port Richmond Tigers. I'll show you the crime scene of Sean. I'll show you the house. And yeah, right here, this is Bridesburg Cougars field. This is the field for the Cougars. They're it's not a bar with middle-aged women. It's a baseball field for kids. I always wanted to play here because they got the home run fence. And the home run fence goes right over, right here is the ramp to the Betsy Ross Bridge. I want to hit a car so bad. I just want to do that. I don't know why. Woo! It's the target I will never set foot in again. Ever. Oh, there's a helicopter flying. Uh-oh. This is it, the world's worst target. Don't go here no more. Used to be my favorite store, but we broke up, and I don't go there no more. 'Cause I broke up with Target on Castor Avenue. I broke up with Target and on Castor Avenue. And now all the cashiers are blue. Just kidding. They don't have cashiers anymore. Yo, cuz! Sorry, I was singing. Uh-oh. Patreon people. Camping with Captain. With Rick the Puppy. Rick the Puppy is a co-star of the camping video. You should probably get that before you even see this video. It's almost done. It's a lot of editing with that. There's a lot of music and fast forwarding, and there's one scene where I stand perfectly still. And it takes a while to get that all. You'll see. I love making the camping videos. So make sure you hit subscribe so you can see the next Camping with Captain. But if you're a Patreon member, you get to see that first. And I'm going to be doing a live stream this weekend, Patreon exclusive. I didn't really do much on Patreon this month because I'm sick. So I think I'm going to be signing the postcards Saturday. I think we're going to do Saturday. Saturday morning around 11 a.m. I'm going to go live on Patreon, and we'll just talk. I'll fill out the postcards, and we'll talk about it live. And it usually takes me an hour to sign all of them. So we'll talk. I'll answer questions and all that stuff. So you got to be at least $1 member to Patreon to see. If you're a free member of Patreon, I don't know what you're doing. You're just wasting time. You'll never get anything from me. You're supposed to give out samples and stuff, but I don't have time. I'm very busy. I have to ride my scooter and sing about Target. Here it is, La Combe. The Roastery, the coffee shop in Port Richmond. Recently sold, I think, for hundreds of millions, possibly $1 billion. I don't know. A lot of money for coffee. There's only like 7 things in the world that I need to exist. I need coffee. I need coffee creamer. I need seltzer water. So that's 3. I need a good pair of flip-flops. 4. Right, need a good pair of flip-flops. I like jockey underwear. So we're going to go, that's 5. I need jockey underwear, and then that's it. Actually, those are the 5 things. I mean, and hopefully I have a t-shirt and another thing to wear, or a comfortable hoodie. That's nice. It's always nice to, I don't need it, though. Not today. But, yeah, 5 things I need to live life. I don't really care about food. Maybe I eat basically bananas and peanut butter. But Cheryl usually cooks good food. But what is this? What is this video? The ramblings of a madman. Ooh, all right, I'm going to tell you one thing that makes me uncomfortable is... Okay, guys, I'm going to go zippity-doo-dah in this way. My thing that makes me uncomfortable is I don't like vlogging with people who don't know who I am. Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't like vlogging with people who don't know who I am, and I just assume nobody knows who I am. So what we're going to see right now is I'm going to go to a local kibasi shop, Chev's Kibasi, and I'm going to see if they'll let me talk about Heckler Spicy Ketchup, which is now available. Man, you can smell this place. Get right on the corner. This is Chev's. It's a kibasi spot. All right, here we are, Port Richmond, iconic location. Chev's, is that how you say it? Yeah. There we go. This is the best smelling place in Port Richmond, and they have the best kibasi. All made in the smokehouse, in the garage. How long you guys been here?
1938.
That's more than 10 years. They've been here for almost 90 years. And this is a Port Richmond icon. This guy here, this is John, who worked behind this counter, and he was like one of the nicest human beings who could just carry a conversation with you. And we just lost him this year. If I'm going to talk about Port Richmond icons, this man here is a legend. And right here is another Port Richmond legend, Heckler Spicy Ketchup and the Heckler Spicy Sauces. You can find them here in Port Richmond, in Chev's. You could also, check this out, dude, more pierogies than you can shake a stick at. They got Philly cheesesteak, bacon cheddar. This isn't a sponsor thing. I've been going to this place my whole life, and you got to check it out. Chev's. May the Lord be with you. They also have a great picture of the Pope John Paul. He's the only Pope that matters because he's the Polish Pope. So that's what they say in Port Richmond. Growing up in this neighborhood, every woman had a picture of the Pope in their dining room table. And right here, if you come here around Easter time, this is the line for the Polish treats here at Chev's. And don't forget, Heckler Spicy Ketchup. Oh, that place smells so good. And oh, you know what? They were very, very nice. They let me film, and I got to be the, Todd calls it the character. Because, like, there's a difference when the camera's on. Like, you know, I wouldn't be that excited running in there if I wasn't recording. But because I was actually filming in there and showing you guys, that actually got me excited. I've been wanting to film in there for years. I just don't like going into places and asking for permission to record. And usually most places say yes. But I just don't... I just don't like the fear of... They're doing... there's like a little mental health thing happening right here in Campbell Square. It's a company called Comar. I don't know much about them, but they have people dancing, and they just did a walkathon. They walked 1.5 miles. And I heard someone say that there's going to be a mental health walk at Friends Hospital on October 18th if you're trying to do anything. I can't commit to anything in October because I don't know if you heard the news. Phillies are in the playoffs, hon. And, but that was good. That was good. But so October 18th, Friends Hospital, there's a thing where they're doing a thing to erase the stigma about mental health. If you don't know, I have a movie on Netflix. I mention this sometimes, because sometimes I don't mention it for like a few weeks, and then people go, holy shit, you have a movie on the Netflix? So once in a while, you just mention it, and you go, hey, all right, I got this movie on Netflix. It's about the Trey Turner standing ovation thing that happened at the Philly Stadium 2 years ago. But it's also about, like, sort of my life story and my battle with my mental health and all that stuff. And I heard somebody say something pretty powerful. because, and it's very silly to hear, but somebody said you were not your diagnosis. And there are times when I just start feeling depressed, and I just feel depressed, and I let myself get depressed because I go, oh, I got depression. I should make myself feel depressed. But I've been really fighting that the last year. I've been really just trying to do my thing. All right, well, this is the Port Richmond PAL. Used to be the Philadelphia Police Department back in the day. PAL is a thing called the Police Athletic League. It's where, kids between the ages of 8 and 14, it's where they go, they play basketball. I guess you could be older or a little bit younger, but that's what the average age is when I went, which was 30 years ago. Port Richmond Legends, Ethel's. Store was named Ethel's, run by Gracie and John. Gracie and John were a married couple who worked here. This is where I would spend a lot of my money. My aluminum can recycling money definitely went here. Oh, look at this. Changes to Ethel's. The side door now has a step. Wow. Sadness fills my soul. Or was that the back door? No, this was the door. You would go in here, and then they had 2 or 3 little booths. You would sit back there, and Gracie and John, I think they both smoked behind the counter. They didn't have a pretzel bottle, or a squeezable mustard bottle. They had mustard in a crystal jar with a paintbrush. And you would go there, you get pretzels, sodas. They would make cheesesteak, hamburgers, hoagies. And they were like family. They would yell at me if I was acting like an asshole. Stop it, John. That's my Gracie impression. It's almost spot on. Last time I saw Gracie was about, I guess my kids were still in daycare or doing something. It was maybe 13, 15 years ago. I saw Gracie, and I haven't seen her in a few years, and at that time I was pretty heavy. I'm still heavy, but I was pretty heavy then. Last thing Gracie ever said to me before I ever saw her alive was, "My God, you're fat. You're so fat." I was like, "Oh, thanks." All right, well, here it is, the Port Richmond Tigers. This is the home that Keith had, or the sports organization, kind of like a second home to some people. And this is the organization Keith Daly started back in 1976. Over here is Cahawk's Playground, which is currently getting renovated. And they're still around to this day. Now, if you weren't a Port Richmond Tiger, you could be a Port Richmond Leprechaun. And I think the Leprechauns were around before the Tigers. And the Leprechauns, the thing that they did different than the Tigers was they had 1961, yeah, so they've been around for a long time. They did football. So they had football, and they had cheerleading, and they had baseball. I think they even had basketball. And they were the arch rival of the Philly Captain, the Port Richmond Leprechauns. And now I think the Port Richmond Tigers have a football squad. We're going down here to Monmouth Street, and this is the street where the Dalys lived, Keith and Sean. Sean wasn't murdered too far from here. I'll show you, unfortunately, where he lost his life. He lived on Monmouth Street right here. And it's one of these two houses. I think it's the one with the lion. I'm not sure, but anyway, so Keith lived there. I remember my dad was good friends with Keith, and I remember a week or two after Sean died, maybe a month, we went over. We had a thing happening. I think Keith was depressed, and my dad was just hanging out with him, and then I went over to hang out, and we were over there for a long time. Keith was drinking a little bit. and he took us up into Sean's bedroom that had nothing touched since the day he died. And the calendar, I remember the calendar on the wall. It was kind of like an LED calendar. It was stuck on the date where Sean got attacked. I think Sean got attacked one night, and he survived a little bit, and then unfortunately he died the day after. I remember going to church that Sunday. He was attacked on the Saturday night, and I remember going to church that Sunday, and I think I told the priest we got to pray for Sean Daly today because he was beat up pretty bad, but he survived. We thought he might survive, and he died. There he is. Hello. Look at this. We are in another Port Richmond legend. I was talking about Chevs. I was talking about Keith Daly. This is Ray the Barber Barbershop. Still open to this day. Look at that. So many people got their hair cut. And this is the most... Where's the massager? Where's he hiding?
I got it.
The most iconic thing in the barbershop.
We call it the tipster.
This is the tipster. After you get your hair cut by Ray the Barber, he would put this on your back, and it would zzz, and it would shake off the loose hairs. But that was what made Ray the Barber different than every other haircut. Cutting hair longer than most people been alive. Ray the Barber. This is a picture of Ray cutting his dad's hair. Everybody in Ray's family, they cut hair. There's Ray today. And you could buy a brush or a pocket hairbrush, or even check out Ray's Pete Rose autograph. And if you want to get your hair cut inside Ray the Barber's, he's open, I think, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And, man, that was cool. I love going in there. Ray is probably one of the only businesses still open that's like an independent shop. Going down here, this is the street I grew up in my early teens. This is where I lived, right here. And on the day Sean Daly was attacked, his attack happened right here at Belgrade and Ann. We lived down the way. And I remember when he was attacked, what Sean was doing is he was hanging on a corner with a bunch of guys. And these guys came out of a car. Sean's friends ran. But Sean didn't see any of this because Sean was taking a piss in the alleyway. I think that's the story, right? And that's what you do. This is before the fence was here. You go all the way down. So Sean comes out. And there's a bunch of guys. And they just beat Sean. And then they shoot him. And it's mistaken identity. I don't think it's over a girl. It's not over Sean. It's the wrong people. I think that's... And I remember when we heard we were sitting on my couch. And I heard the pop, pop, pop. And it sounded like fireworks. And me and my dad opened the door. And we ran down here. We saw Sean laying on the pavement. And my dad told my mom to call Keith. So my mom called Keith Daly. Here's a tribute to Sean. And the sad thing is this memorial for Sean has been here so long that it's fading away. I was talking to people inside Ray the Barber's barbershop, and I was talking about Keith to the people in there, and they said they used to cut Keith's hair. Keith used to get his hair cut at Ray the Barber's, which makes sense. It was right down the street. And I was talking about how Keith was not the same. He just lost his whole drive for living after his son was murdered. He lived for like a little bit more than a decade, but you could tell he was always depressed. Like, I didn't know what depression was at that time, but he walked slower. His head was hunched, and it was very sad because that guy brought a lot of joy to a lot of people in in this neighborhood. Oh, look at this. The police. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, there's a lot of police. The end result of a big chase where they caught somebody inside one of these houses. Yeah, there's a whole lot of cops there. They caught somebody in one of the houses. They were chasing them. I heard a lady say, "Hey, did we get them?" Cop said, "Yeah, we got them." So, yeah, I'm thinking about Keith Daly over here. This used to be Pete's grocery store. I'm thinking about Keith Daly. Kinda. Mentally, he was murdered on the night Sean was murdered. And I'm sure Mrs. Daly, I didn't know Keith's wife, but I'm sure, you know, I can't imagine losing a child. It has to be the worst thing, and losing one that way is horrible. It's funny that you don't get life when you take a life. You get I think like 20 years. I know somebody else who has a family member murdered, and they got a 20-year plea deal. And what are we making deals with murderers for? Now I'm driving around here. I see some Nissans and some Hondas, and like they have broken windows. But I can't tell if they're stolen or not because the windows are tinted. I would just say, listen, if you live around this area at Port Richmond and Bridesburg, there are people who are known people who are known to be breaking into cars. So just lock up your car. Lock up your car. Make sure your car doors are locked. Make sure you get a club. I have a club. I stopped using it because I was lazy. There's a lot of clubs being used in here. You could tell. That's like the fifth one. The fifth club I drove past. You can tell there's a problem right around here. A lot of people having problems. Yeah, so I really think like since now that I'm looking for the signs of like what cars get broken into and what cars are having issues, and it's funny that they're all having this problem around here. Another Port Richmond location. This was Harry's Luncheonette. It's now the Hong Kong Deli. Back in the day, it was my first job. My very, very first job. Yeah, I would say maybe around here is a spot where you could stash cars. There's all kinds of bullshit that happens on Aramingo Ave. Let's see what they're doing. Are they still doing the crazy sign? Yeah, they are. This is the craziest parking lot in Port Richmond. Go ahead, hon. They have these signs. And if you're parking for Loco Hot Deals, which is that store there, you have to park here. But if you park over here, that's for the CrossFit. So you can't park here. That's why they got the cones. But then, if you park over here, they have, this is a whole other thing. And what they were doing is they were putting barnacles on people's cars. There are these yellow contraptions that they suck onto your windshield. And you had to pay them a certain amount of money to get it taken off. Even though, like, you were parking in here to go shopping. But sometimes this store gets a pretty big crowd. Today's Friday. Ooh, it's $10 day. Let's see if we can go in here. It gives me a headache. They play this music so friggin' loud. They actually had some interesting things to buy, but the box that the things came in were bigger than I could carry with my scooter. You see, my car is in the shop. Oh, I have fantastic news. I'm taking Kevin to his Phillies game. I take him to a Phillies game. I try to take him almost every year. going on. I think this will be his third or fourth game. And this one, he's actually, he could talk a little bit, and he could, he could definitely say no. So it should be fun to take Kevin to the game. What he should do, he should be moving over. He's going the wrong way. There we go. You know what I always do when I'm the dickhead going the wrong way in traffic? I usually step to the side and let the right people go. Sometimes. Depends. Maybe not today. I'm in a bad mood. I'm still in my falling down stage where anything bad will just make me snap. Yeah, I guess technically there is a possibility my car could be done today. Whenever I'm vlogging, I never really look at my phone. One of the reasons why is I don't like getting bad news. So I just don't look at my phone. I don't check my messages. I'm pretty bad. I'm pretty bad at it. And I had something happen a few years ago, and I just couldn't. I can't look at my mail. I can't get the mail out of the mailbox anymore. It just drives me insane. And I don't look at my phone. I'm a bad phone, text, call. I'm just bad at it. Email me. Please email me. You'll never get a response from me. I don't email. You can tell you're back in Bridesburg when you see the truck on the roof. Boulevard truck. Right here. Next to this nice town smokestack. Jim, the truck's broken. What should we do with it? Throw it on the roof. That's how I would like to think that's how the conversation went when how the truck got on the roof. It is the Polania Club. This is one of those private clubs in Bridesburg. It's like a social club. You pay a membership fee. You get to go in there. One of the things they have in there is bowling. And they don't have a thing to set up the pins. They have kids to set up the pins. Well, I see that the stolen Kia is still here. And this is a perfect dumping spot for a car. Oh, we got a Honda. Is this stolen? No. This car is stolen. Maybe it's not reported stolen. But I don't know. Should the cops come if they know that I don't want to touch it, but the column's cracked, the window's busted, it's a Kia Soul, there's a known car thief in this area, not too far from this location. Yeah, I'm going to go call the cops again.